Saturday, June 22nd at 7:30 p.m. at the Parsons Center for Health and Wellness, Phoenix Film Collective presents a special 50th anniversary screening of Midnight Cowboy in partnership with Phoenix Pride and Stacy's on Melrose. To get your tickets, go to phxfilmcollective.com. That's phxfilmcollective.com. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the show. Hey there, everyone. Thanks for listening to Limited Engagement. I'm your host for the show, Jared Duran. On the show this week, we've got Josh Vincent and Andrew Hudson from Holum Press, which is well, I'll get into that in a minute. Just to get some of the business out of the way up top, please rate and review this show wherever you listen to it, especially if it's on Apple Podcasts. Just helps people find the show. That would be greatly appreciated. And subscribe while you're at it and get the weekly download, currently weekly download. And what else? All right, so if you've got a burning question, if you have a burning sensation, you should probably see a doctor. But if you have a burning question, you can, email ltd.engagement@gmail.com. Suggest a guest, request to be a guest yourself, comments. Like I said, those nagging questions that, throw it all at me. You want to know about the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything? It's 42. So you don't need to email me anymore for that. You've got it. You can follow on Twitter at LTD_engagement, and on Instagram at LTD engagement, and follow on Facebook too. You can like the Limited Engagement page on that. Patreon, if you want to go ahead and support this show and other podcasts, and then the publishing endeavors of Hoot and Waddle, you can go to patreon.com/Hoot and Waddle. You can donate anything over $1 a month. Anything over $5 a month gets an exclusive podcast, and other member benefits, swag, books. It just goes up, and more stuff you get from me to you. Speaking of Patreon, shout out to newest supporter, Chris Kyle, who is contributing at the $5 a month level and will therefore have access to the exclusive bonus podcast, and also get some nice pins as well sent to him. Thank you, Chris, for your support. It means a hell of a lot. This month it's June now, I guess, but May's bonus podcast is a mini album infinitum, solo discussion of the Difford and Tilbrook album, which, if you're following album infinitum, is the reason for that being separated is that that show is going through all the Squeeze albums right now, and while kind of sort of a Squeeze album, technically Difford and Tilbrook not really a Squeeze album. So I didn't include it in that run of discussions, and so that will be the only place that you can hear my thoughts on that album, is by getting access to that bonus podcast. And, that may or may not entice you. So what's happened since last we spoke? I did the live What the Fork with Jason and Amy Young, and that was a lot of fun. I found that I actually I enjoy doing the live podcast. I never used to enjoy it. Well, what I didn't enjoy was doing the interviews live because, I've gone over this many times, but as soon as you put a person with an audience, then they go into sort of self-conscious mode of being more concerned about the people in the audience, whether they're being entertained, whether or not being in front of an audience makes them a little nervous. People just behave differently in front of a bunch of other people. So I did not enjoy doing the interview portion because the conversations were just not as forthcoming and honest and so anyhow, but doing the what the fork in front of an audience was a blast. So you can next week hear that if you didn't make it out to the show. And spent Saturday out at the Mesa Convention Center doing table for Hoot and Waddle at the KJZZ Story Fest, and had sat across the aisle from somebody tabling a book on how to poop better. That's the kind of crowd of vendors that was there. It's still figuring out what works for us and what doesn't, as far as an organization goes, and direct events and tabling, and it's interesting. And I'm probably never going to enjoy having to give the elevator pitch and sell our books, which is a problem, I'm sure. If anybody enjoys doing that, please let me know. It's too fake. I've long, I used to have to do more sales oriented stuff, and I always hated it, and it just made me feel and I'm not doing it anymore. I just can't be fake like that. So people just get the full Jared every time, and it's either like it or you don't. So whatever. But the books themselves are good, and I feel like if people, I can have an honest discussion about that. If you ask me about the book, I'm going to tell you what I think about it and why you might enjoy it, but I'm not going to try to sell you on it, because what is between those covers is what matters, and just pick it up and read the fucking thing and decide for yourself. I always hate being on the other end of that. That's what I want to do, is, I don't want somebody to sell me on something. I want to be able to, have something that, especially with books, have something that speaks to my taste, or something that excites me. And it's the same criteria for making selections from submissions, right? Is just that I want to pick up a book, I want to open it up, I want to read the words and have them jump out at me and grab me and mess me up a little bit, or make me laugh, or whatever, make me feel something. And hearing somebody talk about it in a little, basically 30-second window, trying to, it doesn't work for me. Whatever. If anybody's found a way to do that doesn't make them feel like they need to take a shower afterwards, let me know. I'm being overdramatic about that. I don't know why. It's Sunday morning. I was just spinning a great Elvis Costello album, one of my favorites, All the Ceaseless Beauty, 1996. Didn't even know came out on vinyl. Was very, very happy to find that. And enjoying a big carafe of coffee. And so that's that. As I was saying up at the top, we've got a pair of guests on the show today, Josh Vincent and Andrew Hudson, who are part of the collective of folks that runs Holum Press, which is an independent publisher based here in Phoenix, Arizona, and they publish Oasis zine, I guess. It's kind of it's more than a zine to me. Primarily, I guess, because it's perfect bound. It's more like a journal, but it's certainly got a zine aesthetic and a little bit of a I don't know. I'm impressed with it. You should go to holumpress.com. They've got 4 issues out right now, and some other publications you can get directly in person from Wasted Ink zine distro, and they've got a 5th issue coming out later this year, actually next month in July. No firm date yet, but mid-July is expected, and that'll also launch at the Hive, which is up there on 16th Street and where is that? 16th Street and something. You should go to holumpress.com though and get more information about Oasis. Read up about what Holum Press does and what they support and how they work in the community. And they are an anti-capitalist concern. And it was a really interesting discussion. I enjoyed talking to Josh and Andrew a lot. Put me back in mind of a lot of, Marxist literature that I read, and Albert Camus. It was a good chat, and let's go ahead and hear that discussion and see you on the other side.
Each time you stroke her,
it gets bigger.
It expands.
Like a Kirby style, or does Kirby get bigger the more he eats? I'm not sure.
Is that right? The pink guy puffs out?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, actually. No, it's like what is the thing where that you like roll your ball of stuff into more stuff?
Katamari ball?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't. She became a greeter cat. That's out of nowhere. Probably because I'm not home enough for her.
Mm.
But
she's like, love me.
That's gonna be fun if she starts hogging the beginning of each show. But yeah, thanks you guys for coming out. You didn't have to go too far, did you?
No. Both from Tempe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not terrible. Right off the 51, 202, 51, all that kind of thing. So not bad
super
at all.
Close.
But you guys are getting ready to launch your 5th issue. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of 5th and a half, because we had a special issue in there that's isn't numbered, but was an endeavor.
Okay.
It was our winter issue that we did in sort of January, I guess. Oasis on Ice.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. You guys have done events at the Hive before, right? I think you did your last launch there. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've done our last 3 launches there, actually. Yeah. Since the Black issue got there.
Gotcha.
A Deep Well, yeah.
how'd you kind of meet Carissa Lucille and the Wasted Ink crew and all that?
Yeah, well, we